Good morning, dear friends. I welcome you all to the SAGE group. I am Dr. Sukhwant Singh, Associate Professor at SIRTS Pharmacy. We are currently studying the subject Instrumental Methods of Analysis, and in this context, we have already talked about very many important tools of instrumental methods of analysis, like we have talked about the methods which are in UV visible spectroscopy. We talked about infrared spectroscopy. We have also talked about other small techniques like atomic absorption and flame photometry, nepheloturbidity, etc. And in the previous sessions, we have come across a very important and very interesting topic that was chromatography. And in that context, we talked in those classes, we talked about the thin layer chromatography and the partition chromatography, the column chromatography. And we were able to somehow, develop an interest in the column chromatography. And through various examples and through citing examples from the history of chromatography, we concluded in the last class that the column chromatography has given a lot to the uh, chemist as such, and a lot of applications have developed through column chromatography for various biological scientists and especially scientists from the pharmaceutical chemistry department. And we somehow found out that column chromatography has got immense potential if developed or if advanced into various other techniques. And column chromatography was promised itself to be a very promising candidate if developed into an advanced technique. And we also saw in gas chromatography that how with the advances in chromatography techniques we can come up with even better solutions for separation as well as preparative chromatographs, etc. So with that respect, today we are going to start with another very, very interesting topic, and a topic that is close to even my heart, that is high performance liquid chromatography, which happens to be a advancement in the field of column chromatography. And it is a technique which is being used for quite a very long time now. And if you are able to see my camera and if you're able to see my picture, you will be able to see this instrument HPLC just behind my back. And this has found a lot of advancements and a lot of applications are there with respect to pharmaceutical sciences as such, and especially with the advances of HPLC, we are able to perform many kinds of jobs which are otherwise very obscure and difficult to perform if not with help of HPLC. So let us start with the brief of HPLC, and we'll start with the initiation with the introduction to chromatography. Once again, let us brush up our facts. Chromatography is defined as an analytical method for separation of active constituents in a complex mixture, and the mixture is distributed across two phases like stationary phase and a mobile phase. And this technique is applicable for separation, purification, identification, and extraction of compounds. The two phases that are involved in chromatography are stationary phase and the mobile phase. The stationary phase is supposed to be a constant phase or a column packing material which fills up the column and on which the sample is separated with help of a mobile phase, which is a movable phase and which transverse across the column and takes the separates the samples on the basis of various principles which I'm going to discuss further, like adsorption or on the basis of partition or some other fact which is responsible for separation of these components. Now, the basic principle of chromatography is based on adsorption and partition chromatography. Adsorption chromatography involves the affinity of molecules towards stationary phase, is known as adsorption. When the molecules are having more affinity towards the stationary phase, then it is termed as adsorption chromatography. And when the molecules can move into the two phases of liquid, then it is known as the partition chromatography. And these both methods are basically very important tools for qualitative as well as quantitative analysis. And on the basis on the types of chromatography that we have already discussed is on the basis of modes and on the basis of principles and further other principles like on the basis of illusion, on the basis of scale, and on the basis of types of analysis. So let us enumerate these one by one. The first one is the normal phase or the normal mode of chromatography, and the second one is reverse phase. Now these are defined, and you should also note it very importantly. This is important because um Normally, when the chromatography was introduced or when the chromatography techniques were employed for separation, they were usually done in such a fashion that the silica was used as an adsorption medium, and therefore various organic uh, mobile phases were used for separation of the components on the silica. Basically, silica contains water, or maybe we can say that the silica is a hydrophilic kind of material, and the organic sample that moves across silica is hydrophobic. So that is the normal phase or normal mode. But our pharmaceutical samples are basically organic in nature, and if we try to separate these organic samples on hydrophilic mode or on the hydrophilic adsorbing medium, then the separation will not be very optimum. And in that case, a reverse kind of column is used, that we use ODS column, that is octadecyl silane, which is basically an organic kind of stationary phase, which is very much applicable, very much useful for separation of organic samples like that we have in pharmaceutical samples. And therefore, this type of chromatography is called as reverse phase or mode or reverse mode chromatography, normally called as RPHPLC. Most of the journals that contain pharmaceutical analytical papers on the basis of HPLC are usually starting with RPHPLC method of XYZ and so on. So based on the principles of separation, we can separate chromatography or classify chromatography on four bases, that is adsorption chromatography or ion exchange chromatography or partition chromatography, and also size exclusion chromatography. And we have discussed all of these in my previous classes one by one. Then on the basis of elution technique, the chromatography can be differentiated into isocratic separation, and the second one is the gradient separation, that also we have discussed in my previous class. Like for example, if we operate the separation on the same ratio of the mobile phases, then it is a isocratic separation. And if we go on changing the concentration or the ratios of the mobile phases, then it is called as gradient separation. And then on the basis of scale of operation, we can classify HPLC into analytical HPLC or preparative HPLC. And then finally, on the basis of analysis, we can have HPLC in form of a qualitative analysis as well as quantitative analysis, because HPLC offers to us a variety of flexibilities, and therefore we can apply the method for either analytical or preparative or qualitative or a quantitative or a isocratic or a gradient separation. So HPLC is a very unique technique which offers sophistication in terms of instrument and on the basis of the method that we are applying, as well as it is useful for the all folds of the analytical chemistry. Like it is also applicable to even botanists, it is applicable to forensic scientists and whatnot. Even soil scientists can work upon it. The people working in environmental sciences are able to utilize this instrument. So it is quite a widely used and a very popular kind of technique that we are using in HPLC. And of course, pharmaceutical sciences and analytical chemistry related to pharmaceutical sciences is highly dependent on HPLC, because further HPLC has got a lot of advantages and disadvantages that I am going to show to you. For example, our pharmacopoeial standards are mostly relying on the HPLC methods, and therefore HPLC becomes a very important tool or a very important arrow in the quiver of analytical chemist. So we have already discussed the principles of liquid chromatography in my classes of column chromatography, but more or less the principle happens to be the same, because ultimately HPLC is nothing but advancement of column chromatography, and most of the principles of column chromatography are applicable even to HPLC. Therefore, we have to also brush up um, our understanding of liquid chromatography, which is quite evident from this particular diagram or the figure that we are observing, that if we have a column stationary phase and apply a sample or load a sample on the top of it and start adding the solvent, then on the basis of partition or on the basis of relative solubilities, the samples which is actually a mixture of multiple components is separated into various further components on the basis of movement of the solvent, which transfers from the column either with help of gravity or with help of some external pumping force, the solvent moves across the column, and this type of separation into bands of various components is observed. And if these components are colored enough, for example, in this particular example, these are colored samples. So these colored components can come out of the column one by one, and we can separate out these components instantly. Now, these are the basic requirements, the basic principles of liquid chromatography. But these similar principles are applied for the advancement into high performance or high pressure liquid chromatography, as the name suggests. That here in this particular diagram, we are seeing that the movement of solvent is because of the gravitational force. But in case of HPLC, we can alter these forces, and we can apply higher pressures, and therefore the process is called as performance or high pressure liquid chromatography. So the types of liquid chromatography that we normally use is given over here. For example, in normal phase chromatography, the packing material is silica gel, and the mobile phase is N-hexane or IPE, and the interaction is adsorption. Here we can see that in the normal phase chromatography, the packing material is silica gel, which is hydrophobic, hydrophilic in nature, whereas the mobile phase N-hexane is a hydrophobic kind of chemical. And in case of reverse phase chromatography, we are seeing that the packing material is ODS or silica C18, that is octadisylsilane, basically, which is itself an organic component, and therefore your stationary phase becomes organic component, and the mobile phase is methanol and water, mixture of methanol and water, and therefore the interaction is now more of hydrophobic versus hydrophilic, and the separation occurs on the basis of partition or relative solubilities, whatever you say. Then we have size exclusion chromatography. Here the name itself suggests that the separation is going to be based on size, and the exclusivity will be observed in the terms that the higher or the larger particles will be held back, and the smaller particles can be moved forwarded or can be separated out from the samples. So in this case, the packing material is usually a porous polymer, and the mobile phase can be THF, and the interaction is based on gel permeation technique. Then the other technique that we have are ion exchange chromatography. Here the packing material is an ion exchange gel. The mobile phase is a buffer solution, and the interaction is usually actually ion exchanges. And affinity chromatography, here the packing is done with help of ligands. Mobile phases are usually buffers, and interactions are usually on the basis of affinity between the packing ligands as well as between the buffer solution or the mobile phases. Now let us come back to the topic of today's class. That is high performance liquid chromatography or high pressure liquid chromatography, HPLC. I will try to cover the basics of HPLC in this introductory class of HPLC, because of course the science is very advanced and the techniques that are coming up are quite lengthy in nature, but of course they are also very simple. And of course I've said that the understanding of HPLC as a method for an undergraduate student will be a very big boon for the student himself, because most of the students end up cramming up the topic and just not understanding what is required for a finished student to be be talking about in HPLC. So HPLC is high performance liquid chromatography. It is also called as high pressure liquid chromatography. It is also called as high priced liquid chromatography. Of course, because the instrument that we normally have for HPLC is around 16 to 18 lakh or 20 lakh. The basic instrument that we have are usually these costly. And the cost of running the instrument is also very, very costly. And as a result, HPLC is also called as high priced chromatography. And since the mobile phase moves across the column at a very high pressure, therefore it is also called as high pressure liquid chromatography. And the separations in a normal chromatography usually takes around 15, 25, 30 or 40 minutes, depending on the viscosity or the solvent gradient or the gravitational force or the movement or the packing of the particles. So the normal chromatography will take a lot of time, and the separation will be not very, very clear. But in case of HPLC, the separation time maximum can be up to 5 minutes. I mean, as fast as 30 seconds to 50 seconds also separation can occur. And the process does not involve a lot of solvent, but of course depending on the sample size. But the performance of the instrument is very good, and therefore this technique is also called as high performance liquid chromatography. Of course, it is a column chromatography, and since the mobile phase here is a liquid, therefore this is also a liquid chromatography method. And it is modified from the gas chromatography as it is applicable for both volatile as well as non-volatile components. In my previous class of gas chromatography, we talked that the sample which is volatile cannot be separated with the sample which is not volatile or cannot be converted into fumes, cannot be subjected to gas chromatography, whereas most of the samples that we use in HPLC can either be volatile as well as non-volatile. Now HPLC can be divided, of course, into two types. The first one is the normal phase HPLC and the second one is reverse phase HPLC. Normal phase HPLC is mentioned just as HPLC, whereas reverse phase HPLC is always earmarked or asterisked with help of RP word and therefore called as RP HPLC, indicating that the column is here ODS or a organic column. Now it is having a high resolution and separation capacity, and it is used as qualitative as well as quantitative analysis of components. High performance liquid chromatography is a chromatographic technique used to separate a mixture of compounds in analytical chemistry and biochemistry with the purpose of identifying, quantifying, or purifying the individual components of the mixture. For example, in my lab, if I've synthesized a compound which is, at the end of the reaction, I'm having pure compound plus traces of my parent compounds or the compounds through which this product has formed, then the separation of these traces of the parent reactants is very easily obtained with the help of HPLC, and therefore purifying of individual compounds is very important and easily attainable with help of advanced techniques like HPLC. Now these are the various types of instrument that we can have. For example, the instrument in the center is just like the instrument that I'm having in my lab. Usually it is a multi-tiered instrument because the instrument is having various parts like part A, part B, various pumps are involved in the instrument, and the detector is also placed on the top of the instrument. Therefore, it is a multi-tiered instrument that we have. Now let us discuss a few important principles that are, we'll come across a few terms that are quite frequently used while talking about HPLC. So the principle of HPLC is based on adsorption as well as partition chromatography and is depending on the nature of stationary phase. If stationary phase is solid, principle is based on adsorption chromatography, and if stationary phase is liquid, then it is based on partition chromatography. It is important for determination of volatile and non-volatile components or compounds, and it is important for determining qualitative and quantitative analysis. It is important for determination of retention time. The time is required after sample injection. Maximum angle peak reaches to the detector. So now here we have come across a very important factor, that is retention time. Retention means to hold or time taken to come out or time taken to be identified or whatever. But retention usually signifies or usually earmarks the time frame that we talk about. So therefore, retention is a very important factor that is involved as an important principle for HPLC. Now, the various advantages, I will try to talk about these advantages, and I'll end my class at the point of advantages, and tomorrow onwards we can start discussing the schematics and line diagrams of HPLC and to discuss the various components of HPLC. But let us first look at the advantages that this instrument offers to us. It is a simple, rapid and reproducible technique. That means that for a given set of parameters, like for the given set of sample, for the given set of eluent, on the given set of machine type or the type of column, if all these are the same, then the result that we get every time are also the same. So, and the method is very simple, it is rapid, and it is reproducible. I am saying it's simple, though it is sophisticated. But when I say it is simple, does not mean that it is easy. It is simple means that a qualified person or a person who has got sufficient exposure to the technique can perform it quite simply. Of course, it is rapid because the method does not take a lot of time if the pre-preparations are already done. And of course, it is highly sensitive method because any change like for example, in the changes in temperature or the changes in pressure will change results drastically. Therefore, this method is highly sensitive, and therefore these things are to be maintained before undertaking this kind of a process. And it is having high performance, of course, as I told, that because the results are reproducible, they are rapid, therefore it is a high performance kind of technique. The process rapid and therefore time saving. It is having a high resolution and separation capacity. It is accurate and precise. Stationary phase can be chemically inert. Wide varieties of stationary phase are available. Mobile phases was chemically inert, like less requirement of mobile phases in developing chamber. Early recovery of separated components, easy visualization of separated components. It is having good reproducibility and repeatability as well. It is analytical technique as important. It is a very important tool for validation of product quality control and studies, various studies that are involved. It is important for qualitative and quantitative analysis, and it is used for both analytical as well as preparative purposes. So the type of HPLC separations that we can undertake are normal phase, as I told, separation of polar analytes by partition into polar, bonded and stationary phase. Reverse phase, separation of non-polar analytes by partitioning onto a non-polar bonded stationary phase. Adsorption between normal and reverse, separation of moderately polar analytes using adsorption onto a pure stationary phase like alumina or silica. Then ion chromatography, separation of organic or inorganic ions by the partitioning into ionic stationary phases bonded onto a solid support. And finally, the size exclusion, which is like a maze or a mesh through which of stationary phase through which the larger molecules and smaller molecules can be separated. So I would like to end my class on this particular juncture of class, and tomorrow onwards we'll talk about the various modes of high performance liquid chromatography. We'll talk about the various type of columns. We'll talk about the block diagram or components, why we use, and then we will discuss the instrumentation of HPLC in a bit detail, so that you people understand why we undertake this method, and you'll be able to understand the HPLC system even better. And then we will talk about the outlines of the instrument. The instrument that I have in my lab is, of course, LC20, and we will talk about it. So with these words, let me just end today's class, and hopefully we will see each other tomorrow, and we'll understand HPLC in even greater detail, and we will take up HPLC's instrument in my next class. So again, thank you all for joining the SAGE platform and the SAGE group. And I am Dr. Sukhwant Singh, Associate Professor at SIITS Pharmacy, and we are discussing high performance liquid chromatography, which is a subject in the 7th semester of Instrumental Methods of Analysis in the course of Bachelor's of Pharmacy. So thanks a lot for being here. See you all next time.